All right, folks, you're live with Lonzo, the Godfather of West Coast Hip Hop. We do it like this every week on. Here's how we started. Like from the... All right, folks, here we go. Here we go. From the West Coast to the East Coast and everything between, folks. From Eve after dark, and I started it too soon, but it's all right, and we'll do it again. From the West Coast to the East Coast and everything between, folks. From Eve after dark to concerts in the park. You're live with Lonzo, the Godfather of West Coast Hip Hop. In the dugout, with chalk on his hand, ready to go to bat. My man, the Dusty one. Dusty Vision in the house, y'all. Here we go. Yeah, what up, Doc?
Chilling. Doing good, man. Can't complain.
Glad to hear that.
Gemini season is on the horizon, my friend.
Come on.
Good next couple months.
Come on. It's going down.
Yeah, I'm digging that hat, man.
Thank you, Doc. You know, I get a lot of compliments on this hat. Man, a buddy of mine made this hat for me. And I've been sporting it because I lost my favorite white hat, left it at the airport, man. And I just walked off through the damn security check and didn't realize it until I got on the plane. I left my damn hat in the damn security place. And my boy, I was talking about getting another one made. He made this one for me. Good looking out.
Nice, for sure. Always looking fresh, man. Well, last Friday was a big day for you, big day for the show. We got a chance to go up to SMOKE in the morning where you were interviewed to talk about your career. Tell us about that day, man. It was epic to me, dude. That's my only word. You know how when you feel at home somewhere like you should be here, you know what I'm saying? I felt like that when we were in that studio.
Yeah, it was really cool, man, because me and SMOKE met at CSUN. I did my documentary. I premiered my documentary at CSUN week before last, and then I saw he was gonna come back up there and speak, and it was having a big hip hop day at CSUN. So I might just fall back through. So me and my road dog jumped in the ride, rolled up there, and I got introduced to SMOKE, and it was like, man, dude, he was like, happy to meet me the whole 9 yards, and I'm like, well, shit. He said, man, come on, would you be interested in doing the show? I'm like, hell yeah. So he gave me a cell number right there. We text back and forth a few times. And he set it up and made it happen for Friday, man, which was a blessing, dude. It was a straight blessing. And I had a great time. And it was very, I had a chance to correct a lot of misunderstandings when it comes to West Coast hip hop. So that was my big thing. Because, people think certain things. They think I'm in Uncle Jam's Army. They think this. They think the movie is a documentary. So I had a chance to correct a whole lot of misnomers when it comes to me and West Coast hip hop.
Yo, you had Heather B dying, dude. You had the room at the tip of your fingertip, or whatever phrase I'm trying to say, man, in the palm of your hands.
You know what,
man?
That was a good interview, man, because SMOKE let me flow. You and SMOKE let me flow. A lot of people don't know how to interview me. I'm not your typical interview, okay? If you got a script and you want to go strip question by question, I'm gonna probably just go in a question answering mode. But if you ask me some questions and let me flow, let me set it up properly, we're gonna have a good time. And that's what I do.
Yeah, man, that was a really good time. If you haven't got a chance to check out the full interview, please go to SMOKE Universe on YouTube and check it out. It's probably one of his last videos he posted. It was a great over an hour video, man, and it was just something awesome, dude. So I encourage everybody out there, and thank you to SMOKE, DJ Revolution, the great Heather B, for your hospitality and your love. It was just a great time, man.
Yeah, that was I just
go ahead.
Heather B all the time on the radio in the morning.
That's right, on Urban something.
Urban View.
And there you go.
That was my first time actually meeting her in person, of course, and it was just cool, man, because I'm a serious XM radio fan. My Sirius been tripping for the last couple of months though, so I've been having to listen to it on my app. But I still try to get it in from time to time. And she's one of my favorite shows in the morning, man. So it was all good to finally meet the people and hang out with them and show them what they're working with.
Yep. Well, let's jump into it, man. There's a lot to talk about. One of the stories that I would love to cover, you briefly brought it up last week, and we had so much to talk about last week that I didn't want to interrupt the flow of the show, but just a couple of weeks ago, we found out that Pop Smoke's killers only got 4 years in juvenile hall. 16-year-old, I think they were 15 at the time or something like that. But what are your thoughts on that in general, and the laws that are allowing young kids to commit these crimes and get away with it.
I don't understand that, man. I don't understand. The man is just as dead whether he got killed by a teenager or an adult. He's still just as dead. And the intent was just as, it had just as much malice and malice intent. He's ate with that. I think they broke into the man's house and killed him, trying to rob him or whatever. Come on, man. I'm not saying he's supposed to get double life, but I've heard cats get a lot more for credit card fraud, man. Come on, dude. You take a man's life and you get 4 years in camp. I mean, I know juvenile hall ain't no layback, kickback joint, but still, you would think he's gonna be in the juvenile system till he's 20. Okay, he might end up going to the penitentiary if he don't get himself together. I don't want no black man to be in jail. But like Richard Pryor say, I know why they make penitentiaries. Okay. Thank God for penitentiaries, because some folks need to be locked up. How long? 4 years ain't enough for taking a man's life. I'm just sorry, Doc. 4 years is, but then they gave Nipsey's man, what, 30-some years?
60 years, actually.
60, okay, 60 years. I don't understand I don't understand the procedures. Doesn't a minor get less time? In some cases they do, and sometimes they give more time. I know a young man that near and dear to my heart got 44 years, and he just turned 18. I'm sorry, he just turned 18, but he did about 4 or 5 years in the juvenile system before he did what he did. So it's almost like taxes. It's almost like taxes. One man make a whole lot of money, don't pay no taxes. Other man going broke trying to stay on top of his tax game. It all depends on who your representative is.
It's known, or it's said that a lot of older people will use younger kids as, quote, crash dummies to commit crimes to get a lesser sentence that they would normally get life or something. If they're 25, they'll have the 16-year-old do it, and he'll be out in 4 years, as we're seeing now.
No, it's a known fact.
Break it down. What are your thoughts on that, man?
A lot of OGs would recruit youngsters to do dirty work for the hood, for them, whatever the case may be, knowing that the sentencing was going to be a lot less because they're minors. And that right there, dude, is just, first of all, it's the same basic philosophy that's used in the military. Okay? Think about this for a second. Military gets you from 18 to 20, 18 to 35, I think it is. That's when the military will recruit you or let you join up. Okay? But because you still in that got to prove yourself stages in your life. Most men got the testosterone is kicking in big time. Testosterone is kicking in big time, and they got to prove themselves. So whether you prove yourself on the battlefield with a uniform on, carrying an M16, or in the hood wearing the hood attire, carrying an illegal weapon, it's the same chemicals running through your body, making you want to prove yourself. Okay, and this is why they don't take certain people after a certain age, because now logic starts kicking in. You want me to go do what? Go what? Over what hill and do what? It's a good chance I won't come back. Oh no, I ain't doing that. Okay, and it's the same thing in the gangs. An old cat, he realizes the consequences of his actions and may be a lot more reluctant to do something. Whereas a youngster, I'll do it to try and prove himself and want to be known as being crazy. Being crazy gets you good street cred. Okay, in the niggerverse, crazy gets you big street cred. So it's the system at one point in time used to take that into consideration and would react. For a while they were doing it too heavy-handed, because if you were in a situation where some youngsters did something and they suspected an older dude had something to do with it, they would come after him anyway. So that was a real hard situation back in the 90s. I remember that. I remember those times when they would come after you just for suggesting that a minor did something. So, yeah.
That's crazy. Real quick, what year were you born in again? Remind me.
57.
57. Damn, so you were 72 when the draft ended. Did you have any early memories of the draft? Because the draft in the United States
I just missed that motherfucker.
Yeah.
I just missed it. I just missed it. And for a while, the draft was actually a kind of a good thing for a lot of cats because at one point in time, if you got in trouble with the police, went before the judge, they gave you an option. Like 4 years in the military, or 2 years in jail, or 2 years in the military, or 4 years in jail. I forgot which one exactly it was. But a lot of brothers started taking that option to go to the military. Now, when you go to the military, you came out with benefits. You got the GI Bill, you got the education, you got all kind of benefits. So Cass was going to the military, coming up, and they realized, oh hell, these cats they getting a good deal. So let's start take that off the table, lock their asses up. And I know for sure when I was going to high school, I joined ROTC for that very reason because I felt it was still when I joined high school in '72, they were still drafting folks. I figure if I got some officer training, if I get drafted, I'm gonna go in the officer training off the top, and that was my whole mythology behind going into ROTC. But that was one of the best things I ever did because it taught me leadership, and it made me a different dude. And '72, after I got into ROTC, started liking it, they killed the draft. I remember if you were I was just watching what's that movie with Chris Tucker and my boy Lorenz Tate.
You're talking about the Vietnam War movie,
right?
Dead Presidents.
Dead Presidents. Just watched Dead Presidents, and they was talking about how the Latino dude got listed as a A1. Okay. They had rating categories based on your mental condition and your health condition. If you was real healthy, you was A1. If you had bad feet, you get an F4. You might not have to go nowhere. Oh yeah. Donald Trump, he had them same. That's what he got out of the service. He had bone spurs in his feet, couldn't march. Okay, so that's why they want youngsters that's fresh. Got good knees, good ankles, lightweight. Stamina, the whole 9 yards. Good looking out, Martin. That is Dead Presidents. I was just watching that in the background while I was preparing for the show, and they talked about this whole such a scenario in Dead Presidents in the very beginning.
That is a great movie, and shout out to OG Steve for the donation, man. Much love, man. We love you very much for showing love all the time and support. In hindsight, what are your thoughts on the draft?
Man, you know what? Shout out to the veterans. A lot of cats speak nothing but high things about the draft, man. Some people would never do it again. I know for me personally, I experienced my first real racism when I was in ROTC at the Navy base. We spent about a week at down in San Diego in the Navy base. And man, it was, first of all, I walked in there. I was a battalion commander, not a company commander. I was a battalion commander. I got 4 bars on my shoulder. But one other person in Southern California got 4 bars. It was the cat at USC. I had 2 companies that walked behind me in ROTC from Centennial High School, class of 74. I'm sorry, 74. Only person ahead of me in the parade was the color guard. That's how high my rank was. When we went to San Diego for Easter vacation, they're gonna give us some training, basic training, no major stuff. But first thing they do is took all my gold bars off my shoulder, all of them. All the white guys got their bars back. I didn't get mine back because I was the highest ranking officer on that whole program. Okay, there was nobody that was more higher ranking, had more rank than I did. Okay, they took my bars, made me a squad leader. Okay, which means you got like 8 people in your line that you pretty much, this is it's the lowest level of leadership in when you're marching. I'm like, squad leader. I was a squad leader last year. Anyway, I never forget, man. I gotta tell you the story. Since you asked, I gotta tell you the story.
Please do, go for it.
We in ROTC. I'm 16 years old. locking is the hottest dance around. The old, not the pop locking. Locking is the hottest thing alive. They told us we could only go certain areas of the base, but we couldn't leave the base. Everything closed early except for the club. The club was called the Scuttlebutt. The Scuttlebutt is the name. That's what they call a water fountain in the Navy. That's a Scuttlebutt. Look it up. We at the Scuttlebutt. We fought in there. They knew we was minors, but they was cool. They said, "Oh, y'all all TC." You know, they figure they might let us get enlisted and then let us be cool with us. So we in the club. We partying, right? My partners, they in there dancing their asses off. All the white girls dancing with my partners. Okay. I'm sitting there looking and watching and tripping on the whole situation. I got a few dances in also, don't get me wrong. Then the Navy guys start getting jealous because ain't but a handful of women in this whole joint, and they kind of flocking towards us. Okay. And they got mad. They've been drinking that Budweiser and shit. They got mad. Oh, you guys aren't even real Navy people. Get the fuck out. They threw us out, right? So they threw us out. And my partner, we had two Latino dudes that's always talking shit. They started talking shit to these Navy cats. Navy cats got pissed, started chasing us, okay? We running through the base, okay? They on our ass, though. As we running through the base, a cab pulls up, see us running. Some brothers like, what y'all running from, man? These white boys is chasing us. The brothers jump out, and they square off with the white boys. They catch one of the essays in the Navy base. There's a place called dry docks. Dry docks is where they work on the ships at. But it's like water, but it's not real deep. They took one of the Mexican guys, threw his ass in the water, okay? Threw him in the water. We couldn't help him. We kept running, okay? Brothers, they didn't grab some 2x4s because they working on these ships. They out there battling with these white boys behind us, okay? We still running. By the time we got to the deck of the boat, we could see the fight still going down. And when you get ready to go onto a boat, there's what they call the officer of the day. You got to stop, salute this cat, give him your name and some other information. I forgot what it was. It's been a long time. But you got to stop. We got to the officer of the day. We kept running, okay? He was mad. What are y'all doing? We said, we're being chased. And sure enough, by this time, the brothers come, the white boys come around the corner. The MPs got all of them, okay? MPs got all of them. Now, there's an investigation. Here's what pissed me off. They put all the black guys in the brig. In the brig on the Navy ship is the engine room. They got bunks everywhere on a boat. We in the engine room right next to the diesel engines. We smelled diesel fuel and oil all night long, hot as hell. And all you heard on the door was people beating on the door. We're giving you some bitches the flashlight, the grease guns in the morning. Y'all go get the grease guns. They locked you up so you wouldn't get the grease guns. We like, what the fuck is the grease gun? And the guy said, they're gonna try and fuck you. Oh shit, this is not cool. Okay? So they kept us in the ship all night long. Next morning, we were back. They put us on the ship. Next morning, it took us to we rolled back to San Diego. We had to stand there and get court-martialed, but get reprimanded, rolled up the whole 9 yards, and the black guys left the boat in handcuffs, okay? Never saw the white guys again. They started all this shit. We never saw them, nothing happened to them whatsoever. And that's what made me not go to the Navy. True story.
Damn. That's the first. I don't think I've ever heard that one.
True story. We never talked about my high school year before. True story. That and the fact that we had to do some firefighting. We did some firefighting during that time also. And firefighting is very important in the Navy. In fact, you had to do fire watch. You had to get up middle of the night, take turns every 2 hours and walk around the barracks to make sure ain't no fires jumping off. Okay,
oh, wow.
With a flashlight. And dude, you on concrete, but they train you to do this because if you on the ship, you got to make sure you got to get trained for this shit, right? Make sure the ship ain't burning up. Man, we had tear gas training. Tear gas training was the most gruesome shit I've ever dealt with in my life. tear gas training and fire training. First fire training. Fire training, they have this big brick building. They throw some kind of explosive in there, catches fire, smoke like a summer. They said, do not take the water hose, stick it in the window. You stand on the side of the building of the door and stick the hose in there. They said, do not, under any circumstances, look inside the fire. Do not, under any circumstances, look inside the fire. Take the hose, shoot it up toward the wall, run it back and forth, let it run down the walls, and put out the fire. Why did the white boys stick their face in the fire, in the windows, in the doors? Man, they singed every bit of hair off their faces, dude. It was horrible. They just, that fire took everything, their eyebrows, mustaches, whatever they had in the first layer of skin off their faces. They looked like peeled bananas, okay? No shit, all right? Tear gas was almost as bad. They put you in a room with a tear gas mask on. You don't see tear gas. You don't see it. You don't see it. This old shit you didn't see. All right, they tell you, all right, in a few minutes, take your mask off. When you take your mask off, breathe normally. Whatever you do not rub your eyes. Do not rub your skin. Just let it cry. It'll go away in 20 minutes. First thing them dumb cats did this right here, start rubbing their eyes. For the rest of the trip, they look like a bunch of goddamn raccoons. No bullshit. Oh, dude, it was funny as shit. They were scratching, and everywhere you scratch, that shit just got more under your skin. And they had welts and whips and welts and all kind of catastrophes was going on. Dude, it was really an interesting experience. I would want to do it again. Because I was an officer, and sometimes I would eat with the officers, and I'd rather eat with the listed men because they had better food. Shit. Anyway, that was my experience as fucking ROTC in the Navy in San Diego.
Damn, dude. We're going to make it a point this year to talk more about your life besides music, because I know your life is very interesting. So I'll get some questions, together offline, and over the next few weeks, we'll dive a little bit deeper into who you were before you became the Godfather, because I bet that's an interesting story in itself.
You got it. No problem. I'd love to.
Let's do it. So before we continue, shout out to the chat. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. And if this is your first time joining the channel, please hit the subscribe button if you like what you are hearing. Let's continue with Pop Smoke, Lonzo. That's kind of been the big story. And Aaron Collins says, I heard Pop Smoke was murdered in one of the most exclusive and upscale neighborhoods in LA, the Hollywood Hills. That is in fact true. He was killed in an area where there's $5, $6, $7 million homes. And what I understand, someone took a picture and behind it, they took a selfie, and behind them was the address, or the address somehow got leaked, or Pop Smoke was posting it. Somehow the address got leaked, and we know what happened. Some masked gunmen went into the house and killed him while he was in the shower. Apparently he went with the fight. But Lonzo, talk to these rappers about how to move, from city to city, state to state. You think you're safe in a $5 million home, but you're just as vulnerable as you are walking down Crenshaw and Slauson.
If you are in a $5 million home, but you put the address on Instagram, you might as well be on the street corner. If you're in a $5 million home, but you put the address on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, or any other social media program trying to flex, you might as well have your ass on the street corner, butt naked with jewelry on. This is the part about social media that they don't understand. They think everything has to go on the gram. Everything has to go on Facebook. Everything has to go on TikTok. Everybody's trying to be a big I, small you. And this is what happens. You were a big I, and they came and got you. And that's just simple as that, Doc. I mean, unless you were a gated community up there in Hidden Hills or something like that, you may have a little more action up there where the Kardashians live at. I went to a golf tournament last Monday, man, up in the hills of Tarzana. I had never been up here before in my life. And the houses are so big, man. They look like small apartment buildings. Okay, gated community. You got to get. And I went to Jerry Heller's house and Easy's pad back in the day. They had a guard at the front gate, but this situation was a little bit different because they had the guard set in like a roundabout, and if you don't get permission to go up in there, you can head roundabout your ass right about that summer gun. Okay, it was not. it was a very exclusive place. The golf course, it overlooked the golf course, and it was literally up in the hills. Okay, and dude, that's if you ain't up in there, your ass is you're vulnerable. You're not going up there unless you got permissions. They got to call and let you in. You got to be on the list, or somebody got to buzz. Hey man, that's my boy Dusty. Let him in. Simple as that. Ain't no surprise visits. Ain't no pop up visits in them hills. Okay, and ain't like you just gonna hop over a fence and go up. It ain't like that. It's not like the shit that like here by the farm. Hop over the fence. You know, if you know where you're going, you can get to somebody's house. You ain't gonna find nobody's house up there, man. You got to hop over a fence, go to somebody else's backyard, and walk up hundreds of foot of hills and side streets to figure out where the hell you're going, and then how you gonna get out. So you fight against the elements like mountains and shrubbery and fences and the whole 9 yards. Unlike some of the so-called gated communities here in the hood, where you can just hop over the fence, you can pole vault over somebody's backyard and you do what you're gonna do and pole vault the fuck back out. You ain't pole vaulting up in here, dude. You might not get past the coyotes, the mountain lions, and some of the bears that be walking around the street. Okay. You got, and Negro see a squirrel these days, he's taking off running. So if you see a raccoon, you really gonna haul ass. Nah, it ain't the same thing.
Yeah. You know, this posting your location is new to this generation. I'm gonna make a public service announcement to anybody out there. If I'm ever with you, please don't post your location. I don't want your crazy ex-husband, coming to shoot up the restaurant because you're in it and I get hit in the crossfire. You know what I mean? Now, what do you think about this? Posting your location everywhere you go, you got to tell everybody where you are.
You know what? Usually, unless it's some real cool stuff, and I know anybody tripping, I may post something live. Like we walk on Sunday morning, we'll post on Sunday morning live. But other than that, I usually post after I leave. By the time you see the post, I'm already at home. All right,
I'm in the Uber already.
If you thinking about breaking in my house, I'm gonna be waiting on your ass. Okay? Nah, ain't gonna work.
Yep. And when people go on Facebook and tell everybody, "Oh, I'm going on vacation to Florida on this date. I'll be gone for 2 weeks." I mean, you might as well give them an invitation to come and rob your shit at home.
Yeah, me and my baby on the plane got the wings on the side shot. Yeah, me and baby girl on the wing. Yeah, okay, no problem. How long you gonna be gone? Good luck, bro. Have fun. Okay. But even that though, man, with all the technology people have in their houses, as soon as the doorbell go off, they're gonna get a notification on their phone. So it's just. Stupid ain't worth it. Ain't had no value like it used to. And that's the part they not understanding. Stupid is the value of stupid has been diminished tremendously. They just do it now because they just don't know.
Yeah, man. You mentioned your Latino friends earlier from the ROTC that talked a lot of shit. I still come to Compton. My aunt lives in Compton, so I'm there quite often. And I just sat back and tripped about shout out to my Latinos, my Mexican homies, all that. But there's so many more Latinos in Compton than there were just even when I was a kid in the 90s, How was it in the 60s or, 50s, 60s and 70s in Compton? Were there a lot of Latinos or were they just kind of sprinkled about here and there?
There've always been Latinos in Compton. They were just more sprinkled out. At Centennial, the guys I was just talking about, it was 4 of them. They were all cousins. They were and 4 of them were in ROTC. 2 of them one of them got kicked out, and the other one he just was in an ROTC. He didn't want to dress for gym. Other 2 they were pretty spitting polish as they called them. But it was only maybe 4 in the whole school. And my next door neighbors were Latino. I was been raised around Latinos. The ratio has changed tremendously over the past 15 years. When you see events now, it's 60-40 Latino.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
And then you see a lot of Black and Latino couples going both ways. Guys with girls, girls with guys. Don't make no difference. My son is married to Latino. My baby boy, that's all he like. He don't like nothing else. He ain't had a Black woman in his life. He pops and don't do nothing for me. Hey man, what can I tell you? It is what it is.
Yeah. You know what? Let's talk about that a little bit, Alonzo, because there are a lot of black women out there that get offended when a black man says he doesn't date black women. Why do you think they take it a little bit harder than why a white girl who says, or a white guy who says he doesn't date white girls?
I don't know, man. I guess they know the ratio is a lot more imbalanced between black women and black men and black women. And I guess maybe I'm not an expert, don't know nothing about the census, but what I understand, the ratios are way off. There's more black babies born, female babies born than black babies. Okay, the fact that a lot of brothers disqualify themselves from being for being dateable because of their financial situation. Sometimes the education, sometimes women can just out educate you and out earn you and don't want to be bothered with your ignorant ass. Okay, you on some dumb shit? What? So that cuts it down. It's just it just makes it. People have their qualifications, and if you don't qualify as you get higher in your status in life, your qualifications get less and less. It just changes, man. And to see a good brother go to the other side is probably very disheartening.
Yeah. American Negro mentioned something. He says, I remember in the late 70s, there were a lot of white families living in Compton, but they were slowly moving out. What do you remember about like the last few white people living in Compton, Lonzo?
Some of the last few white people in Compton were some of the coolest people that I ever met. I remember it was the brothers, two white guys living on my street, the Grushan brothers. Them was two fighting motherfuckers, boy. They would not. They were some cool cats, but they didn't take no punking. Okay, and they were the last of the white families on my street. We had a couple of them at first. By the time I got old enough to realize there was a difference, these were the two only cats that was still around. And we all just played together, man. The blacks, Latinos, whites, everybody hung out together. We played baseball together, football together, basketball. It was no big deal. We never tripped on each other. We had crazy names for each other, but that's just kids, man. That's just kids. What? No, if there was a fight, if you jumped on one of them cats, you got to fight from all of us, okay? Or we made sure nobody jumped on it. Wasn't gonna be no rat packet, Some cats didn't like them, but still, man, we didn't support that kind of shit. Never have.
Was there ever a time in Compton where there wasn't so much graffiti?
Hell yeah, man. Come on, dude.
Okay, break it
Man,
down.
dude, I talked about this in one of our meetings I had with my Harvard club. I was one of the older guys in Compton. I've been raised in Compton all my life, and Compton was a very clean city for a long time, dude. Compton was the place to be. It was not a bad city. It was clean. It had a nice downtown. It had a thriving downtown. It was, you say you live from Compton, like people stuck their chest out. They stuck their chest out. I'm from Compton, man. Oh, okay, cool. And that's probably some of the same leftover feelings that people who've been there for a long time still share today, because they've been there so long. They remember, like I remember being able to walk to my girlfriend's house who lived on Long Beach Boulevard from Alameda through the neighborhoods and just never got my pants, my pockets padded, never got jacked, none of that shit. Okay. It was a different thing. My daddy, everything we ever did as a family, all the bills, the phone company was in Compton, the water bill was in Compton. Although we lived just outside of Compton, all our services were annexed and paid through Compton. So for me, it was hard for me to accept. I can't go to Gonzales Park. I can't go to Lueders Park. Lueders Park was always kind of out of my territory. This on the east side of Compton, but it just was a different, and you start seeing how it got cliquey, and like, dude, then it started breaking down into different neighborhoods, and it just got crazy, and it just became not a good place to live. And maybe here's the crazy part, man. Here's the crazy part. Maybe because there's so many Latinos, some of the crime rate has dropped a little bit. Okay, I talked to the new sheriff, Terrence
Wow, that's
Bell.
neat. That's
I
neat.
talked to the Chief Terrence Bell, a captain of Compton Sheriff Department, and he showed me the charts and diagrams how things have changed over the last 5 years. You know, you still we still Compton still needs some work, dude. But it ain't the Compton of the 80s and 90s, you know. But that's the reputation you still see. When you got assholes running up in the AM PM after they do a damn street takeover and steal a bunch of shit, that's what the news puts out there. But you don't see what I just did last Saturday in Compton at the Compton Community College out there with all the families, man, getting services, hooking people up for school. Compton College got so many programs to help people, young people. They'll do everything but wake your ass up and put your drawers on, send you to school. They got free books, free computers. They even building a housing unit for 250 people. You can live on campus. Ain't no other junior college got no shit like that, man. They got this built a brand new student center. So not getting the education is no excuse. They'll give you bus passes, lunch tokens. They'll feed you. They'll give you a $20 gift card every week to go to the farmers market and support the farmers market. They have a little farm on there, a farm on campus, and they grow their own fruits and vegetables, man. So when you know I know the president of the school, I know board members. I've toured this campus, and to see these kind of services be available, but nobody don't tell you this. The news don't cover this. We was out there with Compton College. Only person was doing any kind of broadcasters was me, my girl Crystal, and Kevin Nash from KGLH. We was on the air doing a live podcast from Compton College talking about that. But all the good shit, nobody don't tell you about the good shit. But I tell you what, when the firemen get pissed off, somebody gets shot, they out there with them antennas and the microphones, ready to smut the city again. So that's why I got the Compton Entertainment channel. If you have not downloaded it, please do. I have the Compton Entertainment app, the Compton Entertainment app on Google and iPhone, and we're also launching a newspaper, Hub City Reporter. So all these things, man, we're doing to try and help restore the image of Compton.
I love that, man. And I'm trying to, do more good in my life. So if there's anything you got coming up that, you need a little assistance with, or I could be there just to, be a little bit of help. Please let me know, because I have some extra time on my hands, and I would like it to go towards doing good stuff. So we'll talk more about that offline.
You got it.
Yeah. But you know what, man? You said something deep, Lonzo, and we can't gloss over this. You said that you said that now that there are more Latinos in Compton, that the records have shown that the homicide rate has dropped. That is a huge statement just in itself, dude. So the fact that there's less black folks in Compton killing each other, the crime, it's dropped, is what we're saying.
Damn, man. I mean,
Damn.
wait, take this out. So many people have lost loved ones in Compton. They leave the city in a hurry and move to Moreno Valley and Lancaster. And then you go to Moreno Valley and Lancaster, there's a reunion out there of all the people from the hood. Okay. And in most cases, when you left the hood and moved to Moreno Valley or Lancaster, the problem from Compton was in the back seat. The problem, you took the problem with you. Okay. Sometimes the problem may just be sitting right next to you. The problem may be driving the car. And these are the kind of things that that is sad to say, but keeping it 100, everybody ain't perfect. Ain't nobody perfect. But when you're trying to see something, to do something, and some people are stuck on the old school Compton no matter what. Some folks are going to be whatever they're going to be till the day they die. And as the new generations come around, they will realize the mistakes of the previous generations and iterate. What's the word I learned? Iterate and make changes. Okay, that's my new word. Iterate.
Break it. What's iterate? Because I was about to look it up right now. Every time I hear a new word, I got to look it up.
Iterate means when you see something, you keep changing it till you get it right. It's like most of the things that we do that have never been done before require iteration. Okay, this is my Harvard education speaking. Speaking of Harvard, I just completed that course today. I'm a Harvard I can't say Harvard grad because I ain't go to Harvard school, but I ain't gonna tell nobody that but y'all. But yeah, I have a certificate from Harvard University, leadership certificate, and 12-week course. Kicked my ass, but I did it, and I'll show it to y'all as soon as I get it. It's in the mail, baby. It's in the mail. But yeah, these are the kind of things we learn, because a lot of things that we do in life don't come with instructions, don't come with manuals, none of that shit. So you have to kind of constantly start doing something. And basically what the word means is build the plane as you fly it. Okay? Build the plane as you fly it. Start doing what you got to do. And sometimes you got to just, there's a wall. Let me back up and either go around, go side, under. How do I deal with this right here? And that's what iteration means. It means to constantly improve or change things as needed. It's almost like what's the word? My boy from old man from Friday. He always says he have to John coordinate. Okay, you have to coordinate. You have to be flexible. You have to think on a dime, be able to change things. And when I took the course, man, it was amazing because they would give us problems. And after I read the problems and took those problems and reapplied them to shit I've done in my personal life, I got it. Okay? I got it because basically ain't nobody gave me no book for hip hop. There was no book for hip hop, man. John Witherspoon, thank you, STEM Radio. There was no book for hip hop, dude. You just had to do it. And if you ran into a damn wall, you just either figure out a way to go around it or through it, over it, or whatever the case may be. And this is why I get pissed off when people try to take credit for shit they didn't do. Dude, you were not there doing this shit. You watched me do it or watch somebody else like me do it and jumped on the bandwagon, but you didn't do it. You just merged your way into the shit. You ain't started nothing. Who in the hell in 1984? There were no books on how to start a record company. None. There was no books on how to be a promoter. Okay, we watched each other and we stole from each other. Posters, flyers, radio. Oh my God. We thought radio was out of the question, but we eventually knocked on the door and it wasn't as bad as we thought it was. So yeah, Doc, and those who made the radio, we thought they were gods in the beginning. So yeah, iteration, man. Iteration is one of the things that I learned a lot about in how to just make shit happen. First of all, you got to start doing it, and once you start doing it, be prepared to change on a dime. All those plans and shit, that preparation, that analysis paralysis, some people get stuck in, because some people get stuck in the analysis paralysis. They want to do charts and graphs and blah. Man, sometimes that shit don't mean nothing. The wind blow change all that shit. Okay, exactly. The wind blow will change all that shit. So anyway, that's my latest accomplishment. I'll be a Harvard graduate, and I'll show you my certificate, and I'll be a snooty motherfucker from this point on.
We gotta celebrate that when it happens. That's what's up, dude. Congrats on that, man. That's good stuff. Yeah, during the Sway interview, you mentioned a name that I've heard throughout my career. We've talked about him in the past, but not too much. But I actually won a rap contest back in the 90s, and I ended up getting tickets to one of his rap seminars. I got an 8-tape cassette case of his book, How to Succeed in the Music Biz. He was a super producer back in the day. You mentioned his name, Kashif. Yeah. Can you talk to us a little bit about who Kashif was and break down for people who don't know?
Kashif was a smooth Prince type dude. He was like a smooth Prince. He played all kind of instruments. He had his own sound. It was the sound of the 80s and 90s, man. He was right there. He was right around. He was before Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Okay, he was before Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and I'm willing to bet you they borrowed some of his styles because that shit has the same kind of feel. Kashif produced Evan Champagne King, the He produced the Evelyn Campaign King, Stephanie Mills. So man, he produced a whole bunch of folks that I can't think of right now because I'm trying not to stutter and stall. But yeah, he was a bad dude, man. And he wrote a book. He wrote one of the first books on the music industry.
Yeah,
And
I have it on tape still to this
he
day.
made a shitload of money off that book, man. He made more money off that book probably than his music because it was so well needed. He wrote like the Bible with contracts, the whole 9 yards. This when you had to have a real book. Wasn't no PDFs and some shit you could download. You had to go get the book. And here's a Lonzo Kashif story. You know, I got one. The reason why Miss Chalet ended up doing Turn Off the Lights and not Mona Lisa, because when I called Mona Lisa, she finally got the message. Because back then, wasn't no cell phones to call nobody on their hip. You had to call her house, leave a message. If she checked her messages, she may call you. Okay. When Mona Lisa finally got back to me, she was in Connecticut working with Kashif. And she was going to be there for like 3 weeks because he was that kind of dude. He had live, everything was live. This is, just probably the only thing he used that wasn't a live instrument was a machine called a Fairlight. Okay. If you know what a Fairlight is, you're a bad motherfucker. Okay. And you got to be an old motherfucker. A Fairlight was the first, like a huge sampler. It had to be kept in a room. The main components had to be kept in an air-conditioned room. It had every sound, well, not every sound, almost every sound known to man. Fairlight could produce horns, keyboards. It could duplicate anything. And he was a master of that shit. And he would, if you get some of his music, you'll hear what I'm talking about. Because it sounds real, but it's just a little bit off. Anyway, he always used background singers, and Mona Lisa was one of his singers. And she was contracted to work with him. I had studio time booked already. I'm trying to figure out who I can get, and Miss Chalet got the call. She got called up from the minors to the majors, and that's how Kashif changed hip hop.
Yeah, he's since resting in peace. Is that correct?
Yes, he died a few years ago, man. Just suddenly died. Man, he was gone.
Damn.
We became buddies. I told him that story. We became buddies, man.
I wonder how many lives that book changed. That was an amazing book. And once again, I had it on tape, so I actually got to put it on my tape cassette and then turn it over to second side. It was really cool, man. That book had to change a lot of lives.
Yeah, because it gave you an insight to the record business, man. I mean, even though I knew some things I learned from my lawyer, but it's still a lot of details that you didn't get directly unless you had to. It was a great reference, put it that way. It was a great reference. If you had questions about words and contracts, I learned perpetuity in that contract, in that book. Perpetuity, forever. And when I realized, and I started seeing that shit in contracts, oh no. Because it's good if it's on your side. It's bad if they're on their side. Because used to be a time most licensing deals were for 5 years, 10 years, whatever the case may be. So they come back and license, every 5 years they got to re-up the license. Then they start sliding perpetuity in there. And if you don't know what you're doing, which they got me a couple times, I didn't trip on it. And then I realized when you see perpetuity, that multiplies the money times 2 to 5 times. Because perpetuity now requires you to pay more for the license. Because if I'm giving you a license for $5,000, it expires in 3 to 5 years. But now, then in 3 to 5 years, if you still want the license, you got to give me another $5,000. You may have to give me another $7,000, $10,000, depending on what the value of a song or that piece of material is. So now, with perpetuity being in place, you give me $5,000 perpetuity, you ain't give me shit. That's it. That's the deal. Okay. So now you get more money up front because you don't get no money on the back. But you got to understand that.
Man, I love hearing that music talk. Let's move on. TT wants to know, we've answered this before, but since you're asking, we'll answer it again. Lonzo, you ever met Suge Knight?
Met Suge Knight on two occasions. One time we were at the Compton Hotel. It was an event going on, and it was a hip-hop event going on. They were doing a seminar My boy Gerald James from Rap Sheet was promoting this event, and I was on the front row just to see what was happening. I just started my new company, Missing Link Entertainment, and I saw Suge on the right side. Somebody whispered in his ear. He looked my direction. I didn't really think much about it. About 20 minutes later, I'm in the hallway. I'm talking to two brothers trying to pass them these flyers. For my new company, Missing Link Entertainment. And man, out of the clear blue sky, these brothers looked at me like I wasn't there, turned around and walked away. I'm like, what the fuck I do to them? I'm trying to check my shit. And they was gone. I turned around and Suge was there. And I could smell 8-Ball on his breath. And he's a nice sized dude. And I was standing right about that far from a wall. Yeah, I heard you got problems with my people. Who was your people? And I knew he was talking about the whole time, but sometimes you got to stall to get yourself in position in case this shit go left. And so by this time, who's your people? I'm easing over to this payphone. That's when they still had payphones, them little call your room phones in the lobby. We in the lobby. So I reached out and put my hand right near this phone in case this shit go left. And yeah, who's your people? He said, Dre and Michelle. They said, I ain't got no problem with nobody. I know where you are. You're right there, Dick Griffey's building on the 3rd floor. If I had a problem, I know where to find you. Oh, okay, cool. Gave me his card. That was it. Then he came to the club one time. I got a picture with him. You could tell by my face, I was not enthused about taking this picture. Okay. I mean, somebody else was talking about Suge the other day, and dude, I pick up vibes real well. The vibe was not good. You know, the aura was not good, dude. I mean, nothing personal against the dude. I don't know him like that. But, dude, there's some cats no, man, we can't do nothing. I'm going to dap you up and get the fuck away from you. That's real talk.
Yeah. You and Eazy-E had a close relationship, even up to, weeks before he passed. Did Eazy ever talk to you about Suge Knight in personal moments? Never?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay. Easy Steve wants to know, Lonzo, have you ever thought about getting considered or nominated for a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame?
No, not really. Nah.
You technically have to pay for it, and it's not what you think.
It's like 30 racks, man. I mean, look here. I saw Martin. I've seen people get stars on the Walk of Fame. I'm like, why are they getting a star on the Walk of Fame? And I don't know. Just something that don't really, never really thought about. And this 30 racks. So somebody got to sponsor that shit. I'm not writing a check for that shit.
Yeah, nah. Someone asked, I'm trying to find their name, but I'll just ask you anyway. They want to know, have you ever met Keefy D?
I've met him in passing, don't know him. Nah, everybody see everybody one time through Compton and at some event or whatever the case may be, but I can't say I know him. Nah.
You talked about the Compton swap meet extensively in the past, but any Slauson swap meet stories?
Yeah. My boy Unknown just did a record deal someplace. And he picked me up. I'm driving a Suburban. I had a Suburban then. And he got this briefcase. Now I ain't tripping on the briefcase. He's happy. Let's go to swap meet, man. Go to swap meet. All right, cool. Let's go. We in the Slauson swap meet, man. And Unknown opened the briefcase up. He got a shitload of money in this goddamn briefcase. Nigga, what are you doing? He opened it up like Pulp Fiction. It almost turned, face almost started glowing and shit. I'm like, nigga, what? Yeah, I just got my deal. Negro, why are we walking around the swap meet with all this goddamn money looking like two goddamn dope dealers? He just started with so goddamn funny. Negro, are you gonna get us both jacked about it? I'm not getting down behind your money. It ain't gonna happen. Anyway, that was about it, man. The rodeo, the Slauson was my shoe shopping spot, and usually when you're in the Slauson, you can see where not to go. Where I bought my shoes at, when no hood niggas over there. I bought. They had one of the last few dress shoe places in a swap meet that got real nice shoes back in the day. They had all the flats, the the Miami Vice shit and the shirts, whatever. And most cats from the from the other side, they wasn't fucking with that. That's when you had two different sides of the street. You had just the players and the gangbangers, and the players and gangbangers, they don't even shop at the same time.
Gotcha. KY, we'll end it with this one, then we'll talk about upcoming stuff. Wants to know, when is the last time you spoke with Miss Chalet?
Oh man, right around her documentary time. I saw her at the Regency West. Then I saw her again this Sunday. We all got a picture together, and we never, oddly enough, man, we never had a whole lot of conversation in life. Period. Never. I mean, I would take her home sometime. We would talk, small talk. She worked at May Company back in the day, and and again, she was like 17, 18 years old. So I'm a grown ass man. I'm just trying to get out of my car before the police pull up on my ass. So I don't want no confusion. I don't need no problems. That's just real talk. So that was it, Doc. And yes, me and Dakar are still tight, man. That's one of my best friends. I talk to him on a regular basis, Martin. We kick it all the time. In fact, he's supposed to take me to lunch this week. That's how we do it.
Nice. Shout out Morris Media. That's run by the lovely homegirl, the poetess.
Lisa, the poetess.
Still doing her thing, man. Radio legend, radio goddess. She's one of the reasons I love the radio, man. So shout out to her. Shout out to Dominique DePrima, all those radio legends from back in the day who are still doing their thing.
That's why I started my podcast over there with her.
Okay.
Yeah, me and my partner Dakar. That's what he's talking about. Me and my partner had like a little legal show. We started out, man, must have been about 10 years ago now, 10 years ago. And it was cool for a while, and then I built my own studio. I had all the equipment. I just, I didn't know what was going on at first. But once I realized that, everything is affordable, it was cool. I was going to rent my studio out to other podcasters, but I'm like, nah, it's okay. I'm kind of funny about people coming to my house these days. So I just keep my shit to myself. And, that way I know if it get broke, I know who broke it. Me.
There it is, man. There it is. Hey, thank you once again to the chat room. And before you guys leave, please hit that like button. And once again, if you are not subscribed to the channel and you like what you heard, please hit that subscribe button. Lonzo also has another show on Thursday or Friday, depending on how busy the schedule is.
Thursdays, 4 o'clock.
There you go. Thursday, 4 o'clock.
I moved it all the way to 4 o'clock so I can, because for some reason, every Thursday at 6 o'clock, somebody want me to do something. And I got a call today to do something at 4:30 on Thursday. Come on, man. I'm trying to be consistent on this second show. So anyway, yeah, me and Dre do a show every Friday, every Thursday at 4 o'clock.
4 p.m. Pacific time, right?
Yes, Legendary Connects.
There it is. It's a great show, man. They're like the odd couple, and they just have a great conversation about hip hop and politics and all of that. And shout out to the beautiful, lovely homegirl Bridget B.
Bernadette.
Yeah. Bernadette. Wow. I literally, as it was saying it, I was like, that's not her name. I'm so sorry, Bernadette. Much love, baby girl. Much
Sugar
love.
Daddy. I call her the Sugar Daddy Queen. Okay.
All right, Lonzo, anything else, man?
Man, I'm doing a Father's Day brunch June 15th at the Dollar High Center in Compton. I celebrate dads every year. I'm a proud dad. I'm a product of a proud dad. And I don't think dads get enough love. So it's up to us to show each other some love from time to time. So the mayor of Compton, Mayor Emma Sharif, has got together with me and my crew, and we'll put together our third annual Father's Day brunch. And that's a big deal for us. I mean, we get to show some love to fathers. We honor fathers as well. So we just like doing stuff. Moms get all kind of love, but when it comes to dad, he might get a bottle of Hennessy and some condoms and a porno. That's about it. Okay. I think you deserve at least a good meal and some jokes and some other shit. So yes, Friday, June 15th, Friday, June 16th, I'm sorry, which is my birthday, one of them. We'll be at the Dollar High Center from 1 to 5 doing the Father's Day brunch, brought to you by Mayor Emma Sharif, the Compton Entertainment Chamber of Commerce, and Hood Peace. Oh, my new Hood Peace signs are out too. I'll send you one of them today, Doc. We just had some new signs made. Hood Peace is safe streets, stop street takeovers. So that's our new message, man. That's our new message. Hood Peace is safe streets, stop street takeovers. All right. That being said, folks, we had 47 minutes. 5949. In the meantime, folks, thank y'all for watching. Thank you for all the donations. Dusty, much love to you, Doc. Let's do something big.
Pleasure, man.
All right, we out of here. Peace, y'all.